Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the Quantum Path Radio Show with Dennis Anderson. Dennis is a psychic medium, a hypnotist, and spiritual teacher. He has had a gift to perceive the subtle energies from an early age, turning off the gift at the age of 20 to live life, love, and understand human behavior. To have it reawaken again during his late 30s due to a calling that was loud and needed to be answered, Dennis was urged by Spirit to learn more, grow more, and share his gifts that others can benefit by exploring their own unique abilities. Call in now if you would like to speak to Dennis. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 so that you can get into the host queue.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Quantum Path Radio Show. As stated, my name is Dennis Anderson, and I am happy to be here with you again today on this October, I think it's the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah, it's the 30th, so that means tomorrow is Halloween. So that's always an interesting time, you know, especially for those that are into the, I guess you could say some of the pagan stuff. I'm not a real big expert on it, and I don't claim to be, but I do know that there is a lot of, I guess you could say, goings-on in regards to it with Samhain and stuff like that. So I know that there's a few rituals out there in regards to it. So if you are a practicing sort of person in regards to that, well, happy Halloween. So anyway, the thing is, have fun with it, and that's the biggest thing. You know, like actually, I took my daughter out this afternoon to get her last-minute costume, I guess you could say. She kind of went with this, I don't know, it kind of looks like a onesie, but it's kind of designed like a, I don't know, like a Pegasus, I guess you can say. It's got like a unicorn head on it and wings on the back. It's actually pretty cute, I have to admit. Actually, I kind of wanted one for myself. Unfortunately, they don't have anything in an extra large. So anyway, I guess, you know, what can you do? Anyway. First thing, like, I guess I've been going through a few things here over the past little while. So let's put it this way, like, actually, just yesterday, for example, I actually got the cold. I got I guess you could say a flu or something like that anyway. And let's put it this way. This is the first time in, I would say probably about 5 or 6 years since I've actually gotten one. And the reason why I kind of say it's weird for me because for many years, okay, and this is what I used to believe, and this is what I used to do. For many years, I would actually say, you know, like, oh, I'm going to get 2 colds this year. I'm going to get 2 colds or 2, you know, whatever. And typically, I would always get 2 colds or 2 flus, whatever it is, you know, every year. And that's what would happen. And then one time I just got, well, I guess you could say that was that 5 or 6 or 7 years ago now. I just got tired of that feeling because I must have had one that probably lingered for a little bit too long, so I got tired of it. And I just said to myself, that's it. You're not going to get colds anymore. And the weirdest thing actually did happen. I stopped getting sick. I stopped getting colds. I stopped getting that flu. which is actually was quite amazing to me at that time. But as I looked at it, and as I did a little bit of, I guess you could say, there's a little bit of research into it. Where your mind goes, your body will actually follow. Okay, and that's the biggest thing here. And you too can achieve that, I guess you could say, that sort of mastery over your own body. The trick is for you to actually, one, to believe and trust in yourself enough to be able to feel that. But you have to trust in yourself. And that's like anything, like it's that trust that has to be developed and that has to be grown, so that this way you can, I guess you could say, it's almost like you persuade yourself or persuade your own body to do something. Now, as a consulting hypnotist, let me put it to you this way. There's been numerous, I guess you could say, stories, like about different things that have affected a person, and that you can create effect or change within yourself. There are people that, let's say, for example, whether they be golfers or even tennis players, and they used three, I guess you could say, kind of control groups. People that actually physically practiced every day, whether they be playing golf or tennis. Then they also used a group that basically did not practice at all. And the third group was actually a group that actually only practiced it in their own head. Okay, so in other words, they would just daydream, where they would think about the moves, the shots they would make, that sort of thing. And they would do that for a few weeks. And it was interesting to see, though, at the end of the result. And I think I guess you could say the test was if a person, I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. At the end of the 4 weeks, they actually put them out onto their respective fields, I guess you could say, like whether it be in the tennis court or whether it be on the golf course. And the interesting thing, though, is that the ones that practiced every day, well, let's put it this way. They still shot the same. Maybe they got a little bit better, just due to the fact that they physically practiced. The people that did not practice, that did not even think about it, well, they shot just as bad, if not worse, than what they actually did before. Now, the people that were, I guess you could say, daydreaming, or they hypnotized themselves or got themselves into a trance where they actually practiced it in their own mind, they actually got just as good, and in some cases even better, than the people that actually physically practiced every day. So there's something to this whole, I guess you could say, like you're creating a muscle memory, okay, so within your own head in some ways. And that's kind of the neat thing. So like I said, where your mind goes, your body will follow. And I know that, let's say, for example, there was another scientist. His name was Dr. Emoto. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's passed away now. But he was I guess you could say, this scientist that was, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was either in Japan or something like that. But what he did was, he actually flash froze water. And he realized that if you concentrated on giving, I guess you could say, this sample of water bad thoughts, like hate, ugliness, all those types of ugly sort of feelings or thoughts, well, that water, when it was flash frozen, didn't crystallize very prettily, I guess you could say, and I know that's not a word, but it didn't crystallize as beautiful as, let's say, for example, as it would normally, like you would with like a snowflake, for example. And then he also took another sample, and he had everybody that was looking at the sample basically look at it and say, like, oh, you're so perfect, you're so pretty, you're so this, like all very loving thoughts. And when he flash froze that water, it came out to be very beautiful. Like it looked like your typical standard snowflake and that type of thing. So, now, if you look at, let's say, for example, the human body, okay, we are, like I said, like there's something like about 85 or whatever percentage. Like, I know it's high. I know some people will say it's 75, some people will say it's 85, whatever it is. The thing is that, there's a lot of water that's actually within our system. And our thoughts create this electromagnetic field that surrounds us. And this electromagnetic field will affect the water that does go around, or that's within us. It surrounds us. So therefore, it's going to be affected that much more. So what ends up happening? If you're thinking bad thoughts, if you're thinking thoughts that are not of the highest and the brightest of intentions, well, what are you doing? You are setting yourself up for something, and for some people it could be, let's say, for example, like myself, I got a cold, and hopefully my voice will hold out over the next little while. And for others, I'm not saying, though, that all illnesses or all diseases or anything like that are caused by our minds alone, because no, that's not the case. But what I am saying, though, is that we can truly affect how we feel in a health sort of situation, I guess you could say, whether it be mentally or emotionally, physically, just by changing our thoughts. I'm not saying that you're going to fix everything, but you can possibly make it better. Now, the previous weekend, for example, like I did have a very unique, I guess you could say, experience. I did what was called, and it's very much like ayahuasca, but yet it's very different. I was actually with a group of about 8 or 9 other people, and we were in, I guess you could say, the more northerly part of Ontario, and we did a thing called what was called a San Pedro. Now, San Pedro is a little bit different. Like, it doesn't have the DMT, I guess you could say, concentrations that ayahuasca do have, but DMT is in everything anyway. It really doesn't make a difference. But the thing is, is that there is the active ingredient in the San Pedro, which is basically what it is. Actually, it's a cactus. Okay, that's found in, like, if I'm not mistaken, in the Amazon. And this cactus, when dried, ground up, and so forth, and you make I guess you could say, this brew out of it. And let's put it this way: if you're not into trying this stuff, it's horrible, sort of tasting, whatever it is. But it's basically like ground up cactus is what it is. And like the way we had it or whatever was basically in this cup of water sort of thing with a couple of spoons, and it was very unique. And the active ingredient in that is mescaline, okay, which is actually I guess you could say it's like a psychotropic or tropic sort of drug or whatever. The week beforehand, I really did put my intentions out there of, I guess you could say, allowing me to see or to clear anything that was blocking me in my path. So we were up there, like I took my first class, and let's put it this way, that first class, it was horrible tasting. It was like chunky, sandy sort of Metamucil that you had to, drink or whatever, and it sat like a bowling ball in the bottom of your bladder almost. It seemed like, and that's really what it does. It really works, I guess you could say, on the root and the sacral chakras. So the thing is, though, is that as I and it usually kicks in within about an hour, sort of thing. A lot of people were kind of going like, "Oh, when is this stuff kicking in?" Well, whereas the shaman, he understood that he was already seeing it, taking its effect on us. I did a lot of releasing along with a few other people that day, or that night, I should say, and it was a very healing, I guess you could say, sort of experience. There was a lot of personal stuff that I was feeling. Yes, there were some interesting things that I did see, okay, and that's part of the, I guess you could say, the hallucinogenic sort of aspect of the San Pedro plant. But it was stuff that I was kind of seeing already, like without taking anything. And that's the interesting thing. And I was kind of like, I was seeing, let's say, for example, like these geometric patterns, which I was seeing every day anyway, like when I wake up in the morning or before I wake up, even while I'm dreaming or whatever, like I'd see this stuff. And yes, it did have a little additional color to it, and it was pretty, but I wanted more. And it was something that I kept saying to myself, like, okay, why are you showing me this? You know, this is stuff that I've already seen. Show me some. I wanted something different. I wanted something more. And I was craving that something more, I guess you could say. And that's when I also got the vision of my spirit guide, who was, I guess you could say, up in a rafter, basically kind of laughing at me. Because, in essence, it was kind of telling me that I was always making it harder than what I needed to do. And I had to stop doing that. And that if I actually just gave in a little bit, maybe I would, in turn, I guess you could say, experience more or release more. I had a hard time with that. And in a lot of ways, I'm still kind of reflecting upon these things. And I'm still releasing even to this day. You know, like even a week later or a week plus a day later. You know, like I'm still thinking about all the things that I want to let go of, and I have been. But that is life, you know, for basically all of us. You know, like we all look at things maybe a little bit differently, or maybe we want to change a little bit of something within us. And that's part of the process, you know, of who we are. You know, like you want to be able to examine who you are. You want to be able to feel what it is that you are. But we have to also remember, too, that we are here in a reality of some sort. And now I know there's a lot of people out there that say that this is like the Matrix, you know, and you got to unplug yourself from the Matrix. Well, that's not why we're here. We're here because we're supposed to be experiencing something within this. Please forgive me if I take a little sip now and again of water here because my throat is still a little bit off. We'll get into this whole Matrix thing in a few minutes. Anyway, I guess I do have a caller, though, so I will take caller 863 first. If that could come through, that would be wonderful, Roz.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I've thought about, you know, trying to do those ceremonies, you know, when the ayahuasca and all that came about,
yep.
And the Native Americans and the peyote and all that. Just, well, even like, you know, people who experience a near-death experience or have what they label a spiritually transformative experience where they're just kind of going through their day and something happens that, you know, they basically get an awareness adjustment. So it's like something within them shifts and they're not quite the same as they were.
I like that term that you used, an awareness adjustment. And that's actually I'm going to steal that from you, okay? Because of the fact that I really do actually like that, and that is. But you're right. Like there is, I guess you could say, this awareness adjustment, and in some ways, though, is like we like to go through our lives, I guess you could say, thinking that we're always seeking this happiness. We're always seeking this something, and we're always wanting something, but we don't know what it is until all of a sudden it's there, and it always has been there. And that's the funny thing. And sometimes that's what the ritual does. It makes you realize that it's there, and you always had it. It's just that now you have to go through that awareness adjustment, like you so aptly put it. I love that. So, is there? So you've been thinking about it, have you? About trying something like that?
Yeah, it's one of those things that kind of comes around at different times in my life. It's like it cycles around. But I haven't had any of those experiences. I desire to have it, but to my knowledge, I haven't, other than just, life. So.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing that I do recommend for people is if they do seek it out, that's fine. But I kind of did a little bit of research myself, though, ahead of time, to make certain that the person that was facilitating it was an actual shaman. For example, like I wanted to know about his experience and about what, like how he learned. There's a lot of, let's put it this way, there's a lot of online courses out there, how to be a shaman in 30 days or less, that type of thing. But it's like an apprenticeship, and you have to learn, and it takes time to master it. And there's usually things that the shaman usually does go through to, I guess you could say, facilitate certain healing aspects within it. So yes, like I said, I always recommend to people those is, do your research, make certain that the person that's facilitating is, like who they say they are. They're not just, some, card-carrying certificate member or whatever. And you have to be able to feel comfortable in it, because let's put it this way, you'll be very open to, I guess you could say, not just the experience, but you're also opening you're creating a vulnerability within yourself to show and to share with everyone else as well. So it's not something to be taken lightly, but do I recommend it to people to try at least once? Yeah, if the person is interested in it enough. Some people don't need it, and that's okay. But I do recommend it for those that do want to grow themselves and to create this awareness and to facilitate, I guess you could say, the releasing of certain things, and that's a big key thing there. So,
well, for me, the releasing is I don't know. It's like I think I'm doing it, but then like if I get a reading, somebody will say, "Well, I see you're still holding on to this," and I'm like, "Well, shoot, I thought I'd been working on that." So maybe I'm just mentally releasing it, but not physically. I don't know.
You got to remember, and it all depends on what it is too. Like if there was something that happened to you, let's say, for example, like during your childhood, okay, and that's usually a very, let's put it this way, it's a time in your life where it creates a lot of foundations for how you look at things, how you perceive things, how you look at people and perceive them, and so forth. So there's a lot of things that happen within our childhood, and unfortunately, some things that what we deem as innocent, as adults, we don't actually realize it, but, we're actually programming, let's say, for example, like our own children to react a certain way to something. So, and there can be things there that, like you'll take with you as you grow into adulthood. And let's put it this way, like even as a hypnotist too, I've seen that with people, like where they've taken something as a child, but it kind of morphs into something totally different, but yet it's still related to the person because the subconscious wants to create a connection, so it will. Now for yourself, for example, because you did say, though, that I thought I had released or whatever, yes, chances are you probably did do a lot of work in regards to that. And chances are, you probably did let go of quite a bit of things. Now, the thing is, though, is that the experience is still there. And that's always kind of in and around your energetic field in many ways. So the thing is, though, is that yes, you probably did do a lot of releasing, but it's still there as a memory. And it comes up to the point, though, where, okay, if I have this memory, does it still affect me like it used to? Or am I actually okay with it? And did I forgive, whether it be myself or whether that other person, for creating that memory in my past or whatever? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you come to terms with it, then fantastic. And yes, it'll still be in your energetic self, which probably what the psychic is picking up on. But if you did do a lot of healing work within yourself and came to, I guess you could say, like I said, that understanding, then you did a lot of great work already then. And if it doesn't really affect you like it used to, then you did a great job. And that's the biggest thing that you can do. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So basically the energetic charge, I guess, the thing that kind of, they say when it triggers you. So if you're not triggered by it, that's when you know that you're good with it.
Yeah, because an emotion or whatever is going to create a trigger. Okay, like a memory will sometimes generate an emotion that goes along with it, and that emotion creates power to the memory, and therefore will make the, I guess you could say, subconscious go to that ugly place. You see what I mean? But if you get a trigger, and you look at it, and from I guess you could say, not from the perspective of, let's say, for example, and I was using of the child, but if you look at it from the perspective of somebody totally different, let's say a person that's just sitting beside you, not really so much you, what it does is it actually takes away that emotional context. And then you can kind of look at it differently and say, like, okay, well, this is no longer affecting me. Like I don't have the emotional charge anymore, so therefore now I'm actually dealing with it in a much more healthier understanding. Okay, and that's a big part of that.
Yeah.
So is it affecting you still to this day? Or do you feel that you've kind of let it go now?
I still get the little emotional twinges around my ex-husband. Like, I'm not really in contact, but sometimes if he needs to contact me through email, when I see his name in my email box,
it gives you that pit in the stomach.
That little stomach, like, oh.
I see. I know exactly where you're coming from, because I get those myself too. But like I said, if you can, when you see that name come up, don't hang on to that pit, that little feeling in the pit anymore. Like, try to hang on to, like, okay, I see it, and you kind of tell yourself, like, okay, I'm not going to allow it to affect me. And you're kind of saying this to yourself. And if you can, try to shift yourself into, like, let's say, the best friend that is looking at this with you, and where they're actually saying, like, he's no longer a part of your life. He doesn't affect you anymore. He's only there because of whatever reason. whether it be with children or whatever. But aside from that, he doesn't affect you. You see what I mean? And then that puts the power back into your hands, because that's the key thing there. You want to have the power for yourself to be able to control. Yeah. And a lot of people, we have a tendency to give away that power, and that power is that emotional sort of context. So if you can, try to hold on to that power for yourself and not give them that emotional sort of connection. And when you start to realize that, oh, I'm creating an emotion, he's causing this emotion, well, I'm not going to give him that emotion anymore. All I'm going to feel now is love and forgiveness or whatever within myself. And then that'll make you, like I said, much more powerful as a person and as a being. Okay?
Yeah. Well, it's like, they talk about, like, carrying baggage from one relationship to the next. And I'm trying to clear myself and heal, because I don't want to do that. I want to be open to experience love again in my life and not, be, bringing the X on the, a bag full of X on my shoulder. So.
Well, the thing is that with you actually realizing it, that is the biggest step that anybody could make, and that is perfect, to be honest with you. Like with you realizing that, you in turn are now putting the power back into your own hands to actually move forward again, and that's perfect. There's, you can't ask for more. And then the rest, once you get into that other relationship, which I do feel is starting to come down the road here for you, when that relationship does come, you'll look at it from a much healthier sort of perspective.
Good.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for
You're very welcome.
speaking with me. And you're welcome for my awareness adjustment.
I love that, actually. Yes, I got to write that down before I forget that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. You're welcome.
All right. Good night.
Good night. I got to write that down. Awareness adjustment. That was wonderful. And sometimes, see, the funny thing is that whenever I teach classes or whatever, like with people, I usually end up learning just as much as the person learns from me. Yes, I run people through various exercises, various different sort of things, I guess you could say. And actually, I'm going to be having one probably online here very, very soon, which will be actually kind of interesting and fun to do. And I'm actually going to be looking forward to it. It'll be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half worth of discussion plus some practices, because I do like to practice, and that's the big thing here. With any of the psychic development, mediumship development, or anything like that, well, you got to work the muscle. It's just like going to the gym. There's a lot of people that go to the gym, but they just kind of stand around trying to look good or whatever. And but the thing is, is that, let's put it this way: you're not doing your body any favors if you're just standing around. So, like I said, you got to work that muscle, and that's the biggest part of it. I guess I have another caller, so I will take 650, please.
Hey, Dennis. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. So how can I help you today?
Yes, well, I was wondering what you pick up regarding a home purchase and moving.
Oh, that's an interesting one. A home purchase and moving.
I want to stay close to where I am, but desire a larger home.
Interesting. I am kind of getting that there is going to be... I'm actually getting like it just feels like there's a couple of places that are kind of popping up here to me. Okay, so it's almost like there could be two possibilities. that are coming up, and the trick is to make the right decision, I guess you could say, in regards to which one. I am kind of getting, though, that to wait a little bit yet. Like, don't rush. Okay, this is the biggest thing here, because it almost feels like there could be a little bit of like, oh, hurry up and let's get this done sort of feel to it. So make certain, though, that you're taking your time, that you're examining all your options, because I am getting that there should be a little bit of patience involved here. Make certain, too, like I'm also getting as well, that one of the houses, even though that it looks maybe good on the outside and possibly on the inside, I'm actually getting that there could be, definitely go in for a home inspection or something like that. Okay, because I think I am definitely getting the feel that it feels like the first one will have a fair amount of issues. That, let's put it this way, don't go signing off saying like, oh, it's as is, okay? Because of the fact that it does feel like there is going to be a lot of issues with it, and it may cost you money down the road, sort of thing, and that's what I'm kind of getting here. So make certain that you're really, do your research on that house, sort of thing. And there could also be, I don't know why I'm also getting it too, but there could be a little bit of a financial issue that goes along with that. Not so much on your end, but it feels like it could be something on their end where, let's put it this way, they could kind of, saddle you with the expense. You see what I mean? So just watch. That's all I'm trying to say is just, do your homework, watch, and make certain that you're not... that you're going to get tied up into something that, that is not covered. Let's put it that way. Okay. Now, in regards to time frame, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, I was just saying, I haven't seen this home yet, right? Because I keep looking online, and nothing has really struck me. Like said, yeah, this is it, or is it going to come? I'm not sure whether
It's coming, but I'm not getting anything quite yet. I do want to say, actually, probably, I actually want to say January, because that feels kind of more right to me. So when you get into January, February, I think there's something that's actually going to pop up. Keep your eyes open, though, okay, because I got a funny feeling like you probably will have seen one come up online. But when January, February comes around, it'll come up again. But there could be a reduction in the price too, which is actually work out in your favor. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just take your time and don't rush into it. But like I said, there is going to be something coming, but just make certain you get your inspections done. And do all your P's and Q's and T's crossed and I's dotted, all that fun stuff.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's a big home. The purchase of a home is big, and you want to make sure you do the inspection. But you had mentioned... Surprised. Oh, I know. Likewise, it's true. A lot of people don't because they think, it's costly. But, at the end of the day, it's a big investment, so it makes sense to pay that little extra to do it. But you had said that it would probably be between two homes, that there would be a choice.
It feels like there's going to be two that you're going to be kind of making a choice on, but it feels like the first one you're going to have to watch. Okay. Now it could be the first or the second, but it just feels like the first one is the one that you got to sort of okay, I want to go through this with it looks good, but I want to be absolutely positive, certain that everything is actually in line. Okay, that's the biggest thing there.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate it, Dennis. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure, and good luck with hunting.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Bye-bye. Okay, so where was I? Like I said, about the ayahuasca stuff, or that the plant medicines. I loved how my previous caller called it that awareness adjustment, because in a lot of ways, yeah, like we do. The ritual kind of creates an awareness adjustment, and it's not so much even because of the medicines or the plant medicine that you're actually taking. Yes, that does add up, and that does create a little bit of something in there too. But because I already created the intention ahead of time, I think it just added to the experience to make me, I guess you could say, fully realize that there was something in me that needed to happen or that I wanted to happen. See, there's a lot of people out there, and like I was saying about the whole, unplugging yourself from the matrix, okay, and that's where I have an issue. Because, yes, I get it, and it's very trendy right now, like we want to believe that, let's say, for example, like, oh, I'm increasing my vibration up to this 5D or whatever the fancy term is nowadays. And that's okay, like, hey, and that's, everybody has a different path and a different way of looking at things. What I say or whatever is not necessarily how you're going to be feeling or reflecting in it yourself. But I do want you to question, okay? And I do want you to be skeptical, because that's the whole purpose of, I guess you could say, spirituality in many ways. Like, let's put it this way, for many years, thousands of years, like with formal religions, like we were told that, nope, this is the way. We have to believe it this way. You have to have faith in it. And if you don't, you're going to go to purgatory or hell, or you're going to have bad karma, whatever. So the thing that I do want to say, though, is be skeptical, okay, of certain things. Don't always go blindly on faith. Like there's certain aspects of spirituality that will make you feel very, very good. Okay, and that's a wonderful thing, and I don't deny that for anybody, and I do want everybody to feel that sense of peace, that sense of quietness within themselves, because that's where a lot of your growth can actually come from, and a lot of your happiness can come from. Excuse me once again, I'm going to cough, so please forgive me if I did cough in your ears. So, like I said, but the thing is that sometimes with the aspects of some of this New Age sort of spirituality is that there's, let's say, for example, a new ideal will come out or whatever, and a lot of people will blindly follow it, which is all, like I said, is fine and dandy, and I'm okay with that. But the thing is, because you got to go by what feels right to you. Okay, and that's the biggest thing here. What feels right to you? Unplugging yourself from the matrix is, let's put it this way, why are we here in the first place then? If we're not supposed to be living within it. If we're not supposed to be experiencing whatever it is within it. And we have to, like, and that's just part of it. That's that soul contract that we made when we incarnated in the first place. And that's something that, like we have to learn to, I guess you could say, deal with. Because, like, I've seen a lot of people that'll say, like, oh, I just feel like I don't belong here, or I shouldn't be here. Well, then why did you incarnate here if your soul was not already making the decision to do so? Does that not make sense to you? And I've done regressions on people where they felt that they don't belong and that they wish they were back on their other planet or whatever it was. Then why choose an incarnation here? If you didn't already decide, your soul already decide that it needed this to learn something from it. So ask yourself, like I said, always be skeptical, always question. and try to look at it from a higher sort of perspective. And and like I said, by what I mean from the higher perspective is that you're looking at it from your soul perspective. Like, why would I choose to come here then? Why would I have done this? Why would I have chosen to love somebody or a certain person? You know, like, they're all questions. And they're all there for a reason. And it's all about learning. And that's the key thing here. It's all about learning. So don't be too hard on yourself. You know, don't beat yourself up. Because there's a lot of people that do that too. Evan knows I've done that myself. And so don't beat yourself up over this stuff. It's not worth it. I guess I have another caller. So if Roz can put through 708 for me, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
That's good. So, and your name, I'm sorry, is?
My name is Karen.
Hi, Karen. So what can I do for you, Karen?
Do you see any permanent job positions coming for me?
Permanent staff positions? Is that what you said?
Correct.
Oh.
Right.
Okay, let me have a look at the cards with this one. I'm just going to give them a quick shuffle. Permanent staff positions. Actually, I want to say yes. That's even before I look at the card sort of thing. What I am kind of getting, though, is that you do... It just feels like, yeah, there's been some hurdles, okay, in regards to, I guess you could say, a position. But I do want to say, though, is that there is the possibility coming. I am getting that you are going to be offered something. I am feeling that you are going to be offered something fairly soon. I actually want to say probably within the first part of the new year that you're actually going to be offered something, if not before that. Because I'm actually getting it almost feels as if there's a male or something like that around you. I'm actually getting somebody that's actually going to connect with you, and that's actually going to give you a decision or give you the opportunity, I guess you could say. There is an opportunity, though, elsewhere as well. Okay. It just feels like there could be a move, which is interesting. Because I almost want to say that there could be a move to a different facility or possible location that might come up that might be a little bit more appealing to you.
Oh.
I don't know if that makes sense to you or not.
Like a house move or a job move?
Well, no, I don't mean so much like you actually, but I mean like work-wise. Okay. Where there's actually, yeah, where there might be a change in location that way. And I don't know if that's possible, but it just feels like there's going to be a couple of opportunities that will come up. And it is going to be at the point, though, where you're actually going to have to make the decision of, like, okay, should I take opportunity 1 or should I take opportunity 2? With the second opportunity, it just feels like you may be, like I said, it may be a change in location, but there could be a little bit more money involved. And by money, I'm almost saying like there could be almost better benefits, too. So keep that in mind. Okay, but keep your eyes open on things too. Okay, sometimes it feels like what I want to say actually is that sometimes it almost feels as if you don't really keep your eyes open to opportunities that may come out there, or like within the field. Okay, so not necessarily within your location that you're at now, but all over. Okay, so there may be other opportunities, maybe within another location elsewhere. So just keep your eyes open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think there might be something good that'll come up that way, to to be honest with you.
Is there any, because I want to work on a side business of my own, doing spiritual work. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's not a bad thing, okay, because I am getting that there is a new opportunity that way coming. I am getting that. Because I am, like I said, I am getting new opportunity here. Like another, like I said, it almost feels like another, to me it came across as like another location. So if you are looking at, let's say, for example, as opening up whether it be your own spiritual business or, as a reader or whatever, then so be it. That's not a bad thing. But let's put it this way, as a business, it does take work, and that's the thing that goes along with this. And it does take a lot of, getting out there, meeting people, getting your name out there, that sort of thing. So as a part-time sort of thing, if it's a passion of yours, then yes, go for it. Sort of thing and then as it builds, like in a part-time sort of aspect, where all of a sudden, you have an opportunity where it can go into something more full-time, then look at that too. There's no harm in that, but a lot of people will jump in with 2 feet, okay, into this field, I guess you could say, but it's not the easiest thing right off the bat, okay, so if you have something to create a buffer in there.
I wouldn't be so inclined. I wouldn't be so inclined to, as you said, jump in with both feet. No, I wouldn't do that.
Good. Okay. Yeah. And that's the only thing, because like I said, for some people, because they do get excited about it, and it is a passion, and that's the thing here is that, and I do believe in people in following their passions, and I tell that to everybody anyway. Like if you have a passion like this, then follow it. If it feels right to you, then go for it, whatever it may be. But just make certain that you have a little bit of a backup for a while, so that this way, like you're not, like all of a sudden it becomes like, how am I going to pay my rent? That type of thing, you know what I mean? So always keep that in mind as well. But aside from that, though, I do see that there is opportunity here for some development, okay? So there is growth here. I do see something coming. I do want to say it's probably going to be within, like the next month or so, actually, that you're actually going to be getting some sort of word about things.
Okay.
But be prepared, though, to do a little bit of hard work on your own, too. Let's put it this way, like if you got a regular job, which is 40 hours a week, let's say, and then, be prepared to do a little extra on the homework sort of thing, you know what I mean? So
Exactly, yeah. See, I think the hardest thing has been to accept the calling.
Yeah. Well, you got to trust in yourself, too, and that is a big
thing.
And then all of a sudden, poof, like that's when magic happens. Okay, when you start to trust in yourself and trust in your own ability of who you are, then, like I said, people will see that and they'll be comfortable with it and they'll be naturally drawn to you. And that's the biggest thing there. Like when you're, because it creates you start to portray an energy of confidence within yourself. You see what I mean? Like when you trust yourself, it puts out this air and this energy of confidence to others. And people will pick up on that, and in turn, they will be comfortable with coming to you and talking to you and so forth, and valuing your insight. Okay, so go for it. Like I said, there's no harm in it. You have to try it sometimes, before you can make a judgment on it. Not enough people actually try.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I wish some people would not be so judgmental about it.
And unfortunately, that does happen. And from my own personal experience, let's put it this way, my own family. And that sometimes is the biggest, because they'll look at it and say, like, oh, what are you, in a cult? Or, you're worshiping the devil, if all that type of stuff. And no, it's not like that at all. I just want to do it because I want to try to serve other people.
Right.
And that is the biggest thing. So if you're comfortable with it enough within yourself, then you're not going to worry about the judgment of others, because it won't mean anything to you anyway. You see what I mean?
Well, I just come to the conclusion at the end of the day, I have to meet my maker. I don't have to meet you. I got to meet my maker.
That's right.
So best of luck to you. I know what path I'm on.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, and I've connected to enough spirit on the other side where, let's put it this way, a person, like the person sitting across from me will ask the question saying, like, was so-and-so, like, was my dad happy or my mother happy that I made certain decisions in my life? Because they never seemed to tell me that when they were here. And the interesting thing is that there's always that aspect within that person that, yes, they had doubt when they were here because they always wanted, let's put it this way, they always wanted the best, or whatever for their children or for their family or whatever. So when something is a little bit different, they think that, oh, well, like that's not within the norm, sort of thing. But you know what? You have to. But usually, that other, when they're in spirit, they're still happy that they're exploring something. That they're exploring their spirituality. That they're exploring, like actually even just the other day. Like I was just giving a lecture to, a lovely group of ladies. Actually, there's about 9 or 10 of them there. Last week, and. I just, as a quick demonstration, like I brought through actually this one woman's father who was very happy that she was actually going to something like that, like a circle or a development circle, to explore that aspect of herself. So don't worry about other people's judgment so much, okay? And don't let it affect you. And like you say, you're the one that's got to meet your maker at the end of it.
That's true.
Just like all of us have to, and we all and we have to live with the decisions that we do make, whether they're good or bad, whatever. But that's how we learn and that's how we grow. So go for it.
We all use the eraser on our pencil, whether we want to admit to it or not.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, so, we all have the tools in the shed. Sometimes we got to pull them out and use them,
That's right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure. Okay, then. I'll talk to you later. Okay, you too. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was our last caller. So we are almost out of time. So I'm just going to quickly, next week, in 2 weeks, I believe, on the 12th, something around that time anyway, I will be in Peterborough, where I will be doing some, is it 2 weeks? No, that's next week. No, actually, that's in 2 weeks. Sorry. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th, I will be at the Psychic Fair in Peterborough, and I will be doing my oral photography there, as well as doing a lecture, which I usually love doing, because I love to show people that they are very much capable of achieving certain things too. And between that, I'll also be at Moonflowers. I think I'm also over at Breakthrough Books, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be at a few different places, let's put it that way, over the next little bit. I do apologize because my website I haven't been updating like I should have been, so I do apologize for that. I will get crack-a-lacking on that, but take note though, I have been giving off 20% off for this past month So I do have a few spots left, not too many left though. But if somebody is interested though, they can sign up now, and they will be available, so we can still make the appointment and stuff like that at this 20% off. And aside from that, I do thank you all, and I do give you all gratitude for tuning in and for calling in, for all my listeners out there. And like I said, the biggest thing is take a look at where you are, and understand that we're here for the experience, we're here to learn, we're here to grow, and just keep on doing that. And it'll all happen again anyway, sort of thing, like in the next lifetime, because you can't learn it all in one shot. So get out there, have fun, and enjoy yourself. And I thank you all for joining me tonight, and see you next week, or talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Hardship. My grandmother would go through it every month to pay her insurance bill. First, she would handwrite a paper check, in cursive. Then, using her own tongue, she would wet a stamp for an envelope. Today, however, we need not weary our hands and tongues. Today, we can pay our Geico bill with the Geico app. Away with hardship, in with bill pay on the Geico app. Thank you.